So today in this video, we are going to cover the review or the explanation of overall view regarding the AP JCJ 2024 mains paper explanation. So here today we'll be covering the explanation regarding paper 3, which is English paper. So in AP JCJ mains exam, and regarding the Telangana JCJ mains exam also, so there is a difference between English paper, which is paper 3 for AP and Telangana, regarding the marks and regarding how the marks have been given, because in Telangana we have the grammar also included, but in AP we don't have the grammar. So regarding this, there is a link in the description, so you can go through that for a detailed view and what is the difference between AP paper and Telangana English paper for the mains examination for JCJ exam. So here if you can look into AP JCJ mains, so translation, two questions are given where you have to translate the first one from English to Telugu, 12 and a half marks, and from Telugu to English, 12 and a half marks. So translation, total of 25 marks. And essay writing, three questions have been given, each of 25 marks, and there is no choice. You have to attempt all the five questions which are given in two parts. And essay writing is for 75 marks. So now if you can see here, we are just having overview of the paper today. So regarding this translation, the questions given are, the first question is regarding the maintenance and the second question is regarding the new criminal laws. So the translation here, it's given in English and this is given in Telugu. So here you will be translating from English to Telugu, and here it's already given in Telugu, you will be writing in English. So each 12 and a half marks, let us take one page is equal to two sides. Okay. So for each translation, you have to write minimum 4 to 6 sides for 12 and a half marks. Here translation, always remember there are two types you can do, a line to line translation or a paragraph translation. Suppose you read an entire paragraph, so there are 6 paragraphs, for example, in the first translation. So you read each paragraph and translate it. Otherwise, you can read each line in a paragraph and translate it. Either way it works. So these are the two things you can do for translation. Now coming to the essay writing, here I have been given the questions which are actually given in the mains examination. So the three questions given here are, the first one is regarding protection of children from violence or abuse. The second one is regarding promissory estoppel. The third one is regarding the admissibility of electronic evidence. So before this, let me tell you, the question paper is in the Telegram channel of Our Lowell. You can go and download it there in the JCJ mock test channel. So all the question papers will be uploaded there so that you can download it. So here, regarding these three questions, today we are going to tell you how you can put forth and write the exact answers for these three questions. So before we go into here, the criteria is not less than 1000 words each. That means every essay should have minimum 1000 words. Say for example, for each page you write some 100 to 120 in between. Okay, accordingly you need to calculate how many pages are required. So minimum we can say on an average everyone should write at least 7 to 8 sides regarding each essay to complete this criteria, minimum of 1000 words approx. Okay. So now if we go into the first question, what are the laws pertaining to protection of children from violence or abuse, and what are your suggestions to speed up the cases regarding the punishment to the perpetrators of the offenses against the children? So how can you start this essay? So the first thing is, you can have an overview in your mind while you are looking at the question, and you can get into this directly to define a child. So under what acts you can define a child? If you can remember, juvenile justice defines a child, and a child is also defined under POCSO Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, and a child is also defined and explained for Immoral Traffic Prevention Act. So these are certain acts where the term child is defined. So if you can remember the sections also, you can write along with that. So you start here with definition of child, and the next one is they ask regarding what are the laws pertaining to protection of children for violence or abuse. So you need to think what kind of violences or abuses which are being faced by the child in today's world or society. So if you can recall the sections or if you can recall the content, as I said earlier, these are certain acts which define child. So in juvenile justice, you have certain number of sections which state about different penalties where a child is forced into intoxication, begging on streets, and amputation, and etc. So for these offenses, there are certain kind of punishments for these sort of abuses or violences in the juvenile justice. So you can write that. And for protection of child from sexual offenses also, you have some definitions and the punishments related to sexual abuse and assault or the harassment. So here also you can go for this. And the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act, where the children have been forced into prostitution or the brothel houses. So here also there is some scope of writing where child have been facing the constituent of the violence or any sort of abuse. And if you take IPC, so here I am telling IPC because at the time of APJCJ examination, which took place in July 20th and 21st in 2024, the syllabus is still IPC only. And so I'm referring to IPC here, not the new criminal laws. So while you are writing this, in place of IPC also, there are certain sections for rape under the age of 12 years, 16 years. So you can refer these sections for all the kind of violences and abuses on children. So the next question is, what are your suggestions to speed up the case to punish the perpetrators of the offense against the children? So regarding this, you can just recall by writing certain suggestions from your end. So let's say, let it be that you should have some special codes or some fast track mechanisms or particular timelines to finish the disposal of cases, and public awareness and training programs, some child protection units, the NGOs, victim support and counseling to child and parents, and some online hearings to ease the process. So all these are some suggestions that we can add to this essay and complete the essay. So this is how you need to frame your entire essay, and at the end you can write some summary or the closure conclusion. So here comes your entire essay. Now we'll go for the second one. Write an essay on principles of promissory estoppel with illustrations. So let me give you here an input. So you basically write the definition of estoppel, and after the definition you recall the sections which actually deal with in different kinds of subjects, but the concept of estoppel is being stated. So you take Evidence Act. So here also I am mentioning evidence because in AP mains exam syllabus, it's still the evidence, IPC and everything which you have written, right? So under evidence, you can refer chapter 8, which is from 115 to 117 sections which speak about estoppel. So after definition, you can write the sections in the chapter involved, and you can give an example what exactly is the estoppel. And you can also refer the section 43 of Transfer of Property Act. So in this act also, this section defines the other way of estoppel between the landlord and the transferee and the transferor. So just go through this section 43 of TP Act. And you can write regarding the types of estoppel like issue estoppel, estoppel in pious, and estoppel by deed. So you can explain what are all these three types of estoppels, and you can give the examples. Examples in the sense like illustrations A and B, and explaining the meaning through these types. So this is how you frame the second question and write, and you can also write Aristotle is mainly on principle of equity, and any Latin terms or legal maxims, if you remember, you can add to this answer. So this is the second question where you need to write regarding the promissory estoppel. Now let us see the third one. Write an essay on admissibility of electronic evidence with reference to latest case laws. So here regarding the third question, you start with definition of evidence in section 3, an example, and types of evidence, oral and documentary. Again, the documentary is divided into primary and secondary evidence. You can define it and also write the sections. And the next one is you need to give illustrations or examples for each type of evidence. Next, here comes admissibility. When it is admissible, these are said under section 65A and 65B. So go through these sections. So frame your answer and write in an elaborate way and end with a case law related to it. And there comes your conclusion. So this is how you need to frame your entire essays and make it elaborated in a way that the examiner finds it more interesting and more elaborated and more brief on your essays. Hope you like this video. Thank you. See you in the next video.